Hi, my name's Lori, and I'm an environment educator here at Green Acres. Today we're visiting our Water Quality Education Center, and we're going to learn about some of our native local species and their importance to our ecosystem. First, let's learn a few vocabulary words that we're going to be using today. The first term is native, and it means plants or animals that are found in a certain ecosystem due to natural processes without human intervention. I think of these as plants and animals that were here before humans settled this area. An example of a native plant is a violet, or our buckeye here. A non-native or introduced species is a plant or animal that did not originate in this ecosystem. It's been brought here directly or indirectly by humans. An example of this is a common dandelion we see many times on our lawns or in fields. And finally, the term invasive. Invasive species are any non-native plant or animal that disrupts the ecosystem in which it's been introduced. These plants or animals may negatively impact other living things and the environment. Invasive species tend to grow and spread quickly. An example of an invasive species is honeysuckle. We see this plant on many roadsides, pastures, and forests. But keep in mind that not all non-native species are invasive. Today we're going to focus on our native plants, as they're the base of our food chain. So let's take a hike and look at a few locations where we can make some comparisons. Here we are at a first location. What do you notice? Do you see all the same types of plants or different kinds of plants? When you go to a buffet restaurant, do you have lots of different kinds of foods that appeal to lots of different kinds of people? Or is it all the same kind of foods? Do you notice that here? Are there lots of different kinds of food sources for lots of different kinds of insects and animals? Here we have a lot of the same kind of plant. So this plant that you see here is called lesser celandine. And this is a non-native invasive plant that comes from Asia or Europe. This plant competes so well with its native plants that it actually outcompetes many of those plants. And you notice that there are lots of the same type of plant in this area. Does that provide enough food sources for all of our animals and insects that are here? Let's go on to our next location and see what else we can find. Here we are at our second location. What do you notice? Are there lots of different kinds of plants in this area? Count how many flowers you see. Are there a huge variety of different kinds of plants in this area? This location offers lots of our native wildflowers, like this Virginia bluebell or our Dutchman spreeches. Our native wildflowers provide a huge buffet of food sources for lots of our different insects and animals in this area. Native plants are pretty amazing. They provide many benefits to our local ecosystem. Native plants do not require fertilizers, and they require less water than lawns. The deep root system of native plants can reduce erosion and can help soil store water, which can reduce flooding. Native plants help reduce air pollution while providing shelter and food for wildlife. Native plants promote biodiversity and are a great backdrop to our ecosystems. So what can you do to help? You can start by planting some native species in your yard, or maybe a pollinator garden at school, or join a community event and help remove invasives. It always feels good to lend a helping hand to your community. Thanks for joining me today as we learned more about our native species in Ohio. And we'll see you next time here at Green Acres.